Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So you play a mother just absolutely distraught over the thought of her son possibly dying at war, yet she takes a lot of that fear out on her daughter. Why do you think it was just so difficult for her to believe her daughter?
I think there were a lot of aspects that made her feel that way. Um, First, having her son away in war, not knowing what's going to happen, praying every day for his life and for him to come back home safe and sound. And then suddenly having her youngest daughter saying that she saw this person and this she saw Virgin Mary, and and then suddenly it's something that it's another thing that it's out of her control. um, it's too many things that this mother has to worry about, and then not just having her son away, and then having this her daughter saying that she saw Virgin Mary, even thinking that that's a sin. God is going to punish us for that, and the punishment will be not bringing back Manuel, which is the oldest son that is in war.
Yes.
And also from what I found out about Lucia's mother, she was a very well-known person in the village. She was probably the only woman that could read and write,
Oh,
and
wow.
so yeah, so she was a big reference for the community, and
Right.
looked up to. And then suddenly this happens, and what are people going to think about me? I have a
Right.
crazy daughter. What's so automatically she's so full of things to worry about, and this struggling about her son. She automatically thinks more of herself than actually what is her daughter going through.
Right.
So she judges her. She points her finger to her. You're a liar. That stop lying, instead of trying to understand what's going on.
Yeah,
Um,
that scene where she actually slaps her was so painful to watch. I mean, how did you bring yourself to that sort of devastation and heartbreak? And what was filming that scene like for you guys?
it was really tough. It was our first scene. The first scene I had. Yes,
Really?
I
That was the
yes I
first
was
scene you
like
guys had?
yeah, I reacted the same way you just did when I looked at the schedule. Say, this is the first scene. This is how we're
And
going to
it's the
start shooting the
hardest
film.
scene. Yeah.
Yeah. It was really, but it was really hard to shoot that scene. And of course, I'm not in real life. I didn't slap her, so don't worry.
No.
I didn't
Yeah.
touch her. It's
She's
the magic
okay.
of movies. She's
Yeah.
okay. And I will tell you actually what happened that day, because I was very uncomfortable, because it's very violent, and it's
Hmm.
something that it's totally out of my perspective of being a mother.
Hmm.
But trying to understand, and trying to understand why this person goes to this point, it's actually out of her control. It's a
Right.
this she's totally lost. This mother, she's lost. And
Yeah.
then finds out that her son is missing in war, and then the kid says, oh, the lady will take care of it, and it's enough.
It's just she's had it.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
had it. So that's how she explodes. It's frustration. it's
Yeah.
it's it's actually frustration of not being capable of taking control of those things, which
Situation.
is
Yeah.
something, which is a role that this mother always had. She controls the house, she controls the family, she controls the food. She's a
A
tough woman,
strong. Yeah.
strong, and then suddenly everything is
Unraveling.
everything. And
Yeah.
so it's all of that that comes out in this
That
violent
reaction.
scene. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very bad. But
You did an incredible job with it. You really did. I mean, it was
oh,
intense. It was very intense. But I will say the scene where there's the miracle of the sun and it kind of restores faith for these people and it brings some type of hope. I think this story in the end is a really uplifting story, which is a message we all kind of need right now going through the pandemic. I mean, how have you kind of stayed, positive and had your personal faith throughout this journey of quarantine?
you're asking me exactly?
Yeah.
It's unfortunately during this pandemic times that we're going through, unfortunately, besides what's actually happening with people's health, it's witnessing that you can actually how do you say, the essence of people, the good and the bad is coming out. And that's really sad when you see that who are the really mean people and who are the really good people that are doing something for that kind of moved me a lot. And because what's important is that we should be all together, and because we are the whole world is going through this together. So that symbolic moment of the miracle of the sun is that everybody look at the same direction. Let's all look in the same direction. It's goodwill and save people and be here for each other, not just for ourselves, individuals.
But for humanity.
Exactly.
Well, I think you said it best. I will wrap it up with that. Thank you so much for speaking with me, and you did an incredible job. So I'm excited for everybody to see it.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much for your words.
Thanks for talking with me. Bye-bye. So Fatima is based off of the events that took place in Portugal in 1917. How did you prepare to embody this character set in this specific time period?
Well, I'm Portuguese, so that helps because we all know this story since we were kids. Especially if you had a religious mother like I had, then you learn it from as a kid, the whole story. I never did go to Fatima because my father was not a religious man, and he was actually quite the opposite. So he didn't like much the stories of the church, because the church used this story in a certain way. Used it, and today is really a big business for the church. So some people have a
negative opinion.
Right. Now, I had done another Fatima before, where I played the reporter, where I played more kind of the part that Harvey Keitel plays, though it was a different reporter. It was a reporter at the time. But 1917. Was the Spanish flu was going around. Two of the shepherds died of the Spanish flu at very young age, and the time was also the First Republic. 6 years after the First Republic had taken place, the church was very connected to the monarchy, so it was persecuted. People, the government didn't feel comfortable with this kind of events happening. Especially not when they say they shall not be married. For them, this was some kind of manifestation produced by the monarchy to be able to return. Also, you have to think people were very poor at the time in Portugal, especially in this part of the country, and very influenced in a certain way by the priests, like the character I play,
like father,
Yeah, that he himself, Father Ferreira was a man. I would say we put between the Cardinal and Father Ferreira, we put the disbelief in it among the two, because Ferreira was a tougher kind of priest than I play.
Yes.
Because then we have the Cardinal, and we shared it between the two. because here we have the cardinal being more strict with them. In fact, Ferreira was the strict one. And he never believed in, he had a hard time believing them. And he was more with the mother. He took more the side of the mother till the very end, till he finally saw the son going around. And that I read a lot of letters from people that were there. There were 70,000 people there, and a lot of them wrote letters that you can still read them, and that the production was able to give us.
So you actually read real letters
from people
that they had written back during that time.
Yeah, because in that time, you know, people didn't have phones. People wrote letters to their family, and there were lots of letters written by people that witnessed the son, the miracle of the son, and that telling other people what they saw. You don't have anybody saying that they saw the Virgin or that they heard the Virgin.
Yeah.
But everybody saw the son.
Everybody saw the sun.
Yeah. So that makes you think about it, you know. Even if you're a non-believer, you look at those letters, and there weren't one or two or three, you know, there were a lot of letters.
Right.
There were a lot of people, 70,000 people at the time, when the population was so much smaller, would represent now today maybe 400,000 people, you know. And that's a lot of people. 70,000 is what you get today, or even more, 100, when on the May 13th in Fatima, at the big sanctuary. But much more if the Pope comes, then you get over 1 million there.
Right. He brings a crowd.
He does bring a crowd. So there's that negativity that was created by the church because it's such a big business. You know, these people go there. Fatima lives of the miracle.
Yeah.
You know, of the people that believe, that come to ask something from the Virgin Mary.
The miracle of the sun did feel symbolic for people in Fatima's faith to really be kind of restored. It kind of makes me feel like, you know, this movie is a really uplifting story of faith, which right now in our global pandemic, with all the events happening and just all of the horrific stories we're hearing, I feel like this is a story that kind of needs to be told, just that messaging of having faith.
Pandemic at the time.
Right, because of the flu.
2 of the kids died of the flu.
Yeah, so the parallels, you know, of just needing faith to be restored and people dying of sickness.
And a lot of hope.
My question to you is, a lot of hope. And my question is to you, like, how have you remained kind of hopeful and faithful during quarantine? Well,
one of the things, if you read events that happened, I mean, the way the Spanish flu happened, the Spanish flu was terrible. It killed 2 million people at the time. Population of the world was so much smaller. I mean, today I don't know today where we are with the death, but it's pretty bad. I mean, it's pretty bad. People are it's not going away. It's coming back.
No.
So it's. I mean, I came to Portugal because I live in California. I live in Santa Monica, and
beautiful there.
Yeah, but I live actually in front of on the beach, in a condo. But you know, here I have land. So I decided I'm much safer here. I have a big house, I have land. And people take it more seriously here. You know, they respect more when the government tells them to go with a mask, instead of saying, we have our right to be free. I don't want to take a mask. I mean, you don't put on a mask, you're going to kill somebody else. You know, but so I decided to come here. But that's what, hey, I thought at the time, these people, they needed hope. And when this happened, that they had faith, you know. They thought this was going to save them.
And so you spoke about how you are Portuguese. Is that what drew you to this character of Father Ferreira?
No, as I told you, I played for another film. I did another film about 2 years ago about Fatima. Only was produced by the Instituto Lucia that belongs to the Vatican. So it was more on the side of seen through the eyes of the Vatican, you know.
Yeah.
This one, I think, is more, this script, I liked it because first it starts with somebody that doesn't believe, interviewing Lucia and asking her, what would you answer to people that say this is a hoax? And from there on, she starts telling the story. It is open to people to not to believe it. It shows more the facts. It bases it only on the fact. You know, nobody saw the Virgin but the kids. Not even and Francisco never even saw her. Only the two girls.
Just the two girls. Yeah.
So it's. I mean, I think people made, you know, a story. You tell a story becomes a bigger story. You know,
right. Passed down.
What we know is that 103 years later, the people still go to Fatima, in by the thousands, to pray to the Virgin. So you got to tell the story.
Right. Well, to wrap it up, I want to ask, what was the most surprising part about working with director Marco Pontecorvo? What was the best part about working with him?
Well, the best part is that he did a lot of research, and he knew the characters well. Because for us Portuguese, a lot of us were Portuguese, and we said, well, this guy's Italian. What does he know about, you know?
Right, about the story.
We all know the story so well. But what was most amazing was we spent 2 weeks to show them to shoot the miracle, and they weren't easy. There were so many people on the set every day. Then we had to have rain because before the sun came, there was rain, and we all were wet to, you know.
While filming.
Now then it was sunny, it was hot as hell. I mean, we were going to this, and you have to, and he had to cover himself, so he had shots. I thought that miracle by itself could have been a film.
It could have. It was incredible.
No, but we were there. I mean, I'm telling you, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. And then you have the kids that were, every time they've finished a certain amount of hours, they had to be substituted by the doubles, and we could only shoot a certain way. They could only be seen from the back.
Oh,
so
there was a lot of challenges.
Oh, and you know, and it wasn't easy for him. I mean, to keep track of all the shots he had to make. Him and his assistant, God, they were going nuts because it was tough. It was tough. You know, when you shoot with a lot of people, it's always tough. I keep thinking when we were doing this, and I kept thinking, how must have been tough? How tough must have been Spartacus with all those in that time were like they were. You couldn't put them on screen then. You know, you had to shoot with all those people. So you had like 3,000 people. Imagine what that was like. For us,
many people.
We moved like 100 people here to 100 people there. We moved them around, so then you put them together on screen. But in those times, you had to shoot with the 3,000. That must have been, I don't know. I don't even want to think about it. It might have been a mess.
Yeah, so it would have. It sounds like he did a fantastic job with all of the challenges that came his way.
He covered everything.
Right.
It was tough on us. It was tough on us too because, you know, we had to repeat and do it
over and over.
Oh, and
it came out fantastic. So
and kneeling down wasn't easy.
I'm sure it wasn't. Well, thank you so much for speaking with me about a little bit of the background of the story and your history with Fatima. I'm excited for everybody to see it. I really hope that it does bring some kind of hopeful restorance to everybody during this pandemic. So thank you for sharing your art and your knowledge with us. It was great speaking with you.
You in California, you said?
Yes, in California.
Good luck with the fires because...
Thank you. We need it. Hello, Alejandra. How are you doing?
Very good. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, I heard that you actually got to go and visit Fatima, Portugal. How was it?
It was really cool going to where it actually happened.
Yes.
And I went to the church to see where Jacinta, Francisco, and Lucia were buried. And it was very, very emotional.
Wow. Well, what was your favorite part about working on this film?
I guess it was being with Stephanie and Jorge.
Yeah.
And because we became friends at the moment. And
yeah. I'm sure you became super close since you were spending so much time with them, huh? Yeah. What was your favorite scene that you maybe worked on? Was there a specific scene that you worked on that you thought was really cool?
Yeah, there was this scene I had to do inside of a 20th century house, but it wasn't a regal house.
Oh,
but
cool.
it was in the middle of a studio.
Ooh.
But it was made out of wood, and there was like real fire and things cooking on the fire, and the bedrooms, the beds were made out of straw.
How cool.
Yeah.
I bet it got you really into the spirit of being in 1917, huh? Well, I'm sure that was different because took place over 100 years ago. But this movie is very surrounded around like having faith and keep believing in yourself and what you believe despite, your surroundings. Even though everybody didn't believe them, they still believed in themselves. Now, I think that's a really good message to kind of tell everybody during quarantine to just kind of stay positive and faithful. How are you staying positive during quarantine? Because I know it's probably different. You don't get to go to school and you're kind of stuck inside. How have you stayed positive?
Oh, well, I have my brother.
Awesome.
And my brother died, I guess. It's like my friend at school, so instead of playing with my friends and going to school, I guess with my brother it's just the same.
Yeah. Well, I want to say you did a fantastic job in the movie. The scene where they had the miracle of the sun, what was it like filming that part?
It was really cool, number one, because there was this enormous machine on top of us that made it like it was raining when it actually wasn't. And then the director said, now the sun is dancing, going blue, white, purple. And while we were doing like, like seeing the sun dancing around, that was fun.
That was a lot of fun. How was it working with Marco, the director?
He was very open to us compared to other directors that I have worked with. I've only been in 2 other movies since then. And, the other directors had like another person that told us what to do. But Marco just talked to us directly, and told us what to do. And he was very nice to us.
What a great experience. Well, what do you want to do next? Do you want to keep acting and keep auditioning for roles?
Yeah, I wanna keep acting. But my dad always says after 20 years of the same job, you have to change of job, just to change it up.
Yeah. Well, maybe you'll keep auditioning and keep getting roles. What is maybe your dream role to play? Or do you have a certain person that you would love to star with? Is there any celebrity or actress that you would love to be in a movie with?
I'd like to be in with Emma Watson.
Oh, that's such a good answer. Emma Watson. How cool. Awesome.